The game of chess is one that requires great focus, sound decision making, and a diligent effort in mastering all the intricacies that the art form has to offer. Similarly, Honkai Star Rail is all about maneuvering your pieces in a skillful, adroit manner in order to execute a meticulous and varied game plan. Or just throw a giant dragon at it and smash the board entirely. And while I wouldn't claim myself to be an expert at the enduring art form of chess, I can't help but notice the entire community straight up blundering their queen. Question: how would you react if a new character in Star Rail was released that provides an allied 10% all-type res pen, 20 flat speed, a whopping 72% bonus skill damage, close to 1000 attack, has an innate 100% crit rate, deals substantial personal damage, is extremely easy to build, requires little to no investment, and in fact performs exceptionally well with free-to-play light cones, and synergizes perfectly with some of the strongest units the game has to offer? If you are basically every content creator on the platform, you'd come out and proclaim that they're an irrelevant, dead-on arrival, nichest of all niche characters who'll brick your account if you pull for them, which is the same exact thing that they said about my GOAT Anaxa as well. Is Cerydra the most scrutinized, underhyped recent release in Star Rail? Well, it certainly looks like that's the case. But this is not a video telling you to pull for Cerydra. This is a video saying that I really don't understand why nobody is pulling for Cerydra. We're giving away 3 Star Rail monthly passes to the community. Subscribers who comment on this video and at least one other on the channel will have a chance to win. And I'll be reaching out to the winners in the second week of September to deliver the passes to your account. Best of luck in the giveaway, and thank you to our sponsor for making this possible, LDShop. Gacha games are an expensive hobby, but with LDShop, they don't have to be. LDShop is a safe and reliable game top-up site created by LD Player Emulator, which offers unbeatable prices for Wineric shards and other in-game purchases in Honkai Star Rail, as well as Genshin Impact, Wuthering Waves, and other games. If you use the affiliate link below, you'll receive a 15 and 5% off coupon, which can save you up to $50 in Honkai Star Rail purchases. All you need is your server and game ID to top up, and if you spend over $80 in 1 month at LDShop, you'll get a free supply pass. Thank you to LDShop for sponsoring this video, and be sure to check them out using the link in the pinned comment and description. Huh, that's weird. I could have sworn that everyone was saying that she'd be a bust. Did I just imagine being downvoted into oblivion for saying how she'd single-handedly elevate the team with by far the most potential that we have, and that she'd be one of the highest value pulls this version? I almost vividly recall being relentlessly flamed for saying how she'd be a meta-defining unit, with people commenting how I have no clue what I'm talking about. And the most damning of them all, that I don't know ball. Well, Cerydra has arrived, and even after just 1 day of using her, I can tell that my queen is everything that I'd hoped she'd be. Whether or not to pull for a character is the second hardest choice that us Star Rail players face. The hardest, of course, is deciding which kidney to sell after losing the 12-50-50 in a row. To help with this issue, I've developed the Tommy Lamau principle, a system which guarantees that you'll never waste your pulls and always stay on top of the meta. You might need a pen and a few pages to get this all down, so try to keep up. Ready? Okay, here goes. If they're a Harmony unit, empty your savings and pull for them no matter what. And if not, then make damn sure there isn't a Harmony upcoming within the next 5 banners before you even consider spending a single Jade. You know, looking at it like this, it's actually fairly simple. But really, this is objectively the single best strategy that you can employ if you want to ensure that your account will be able to tackle any endgame content that gets thrown your way. In fact, the only time this rule hasn't been ironclad is Sparkle. Then again, she's almost back to semi-relevant-ish with Archer's release. And let's be honest with ourselves here, there's really no comparison when you look at the kits side by side. No matter what patch, no matter which DPS is the strongest, the meta always centers around the newest Harmony support. This is obvious when you look at which teams have performed best throughout Star Rail's history. Currently, both Casters and the Herder teams work so well thanks to synergy with Tribi, and Aglaya and Saber are both carried by the immense buffing power of Sunday. Go further back, you'll find that Dot and Break reign supreme based on the versatility of Ranmei. Just a couple patches earlier, we all know what made follow-up such a dominant comp. And if you want to go to the earliest meta that we've had, Tingyun was giving huge damage amp, and Bronny was making out with Sailor. The history of HSR's metas has always been the evolution of the dominant Harmony unit and how teams are built around them. What's better, to deal more damage, or to make enemies take more damage? It sounds like a pretty dumb question, and you'd think the answer is the same. But in Honkai Star Rail, that is not the case. That's why despite how strong Acheron's numbers are, even compared to some newer units, her viability has fallen off a cliff. Buffers, for better or for worse, have always been obscenely overpowered, and there hasn't ever been a debuffer that can even hold a candle to their strength. Jiaoqiu is, well, Jiaoqiu. And as strong as Cypher is, it's almost universally better to just run her as a sub DPS along with the general Harmony. As a result, any unit that isn't able to make use of the top Harmony units are entirely gate-kept out of the meta. If you're keeping track, yes, this is the 4th video featuring Acheron Slender. No, I will not apologize. But let's break it down. What makes a Harmony unit strong enough to be worth investing in? It's obviously not just damage buffs, though she certainly has those in spades. So what is it? Utility? Well, between the flat speed, double skills, and res pen, I'd say there's no shortage of that either. Is it a matter of advancing the team? Sure, she may not have innate advance in her kit, but like Tribby, she's one of the best users of Dance Dance Dance, even being able to proc it at 0 action value when running Von Whack. Is it personal damage? With how she builds and the free 100% crit rate, her DPS contributions are certainly relevant. But I know what you're about to say. She's not versatile. She's a Phainon merchant, skip Cerydra, and so on and so on. I swear, the Star Rail fanbase must be full of X-Eminators the way they have 0 memory whatsoever. When Sunday was released back in 2.7, the big worry was how, despite how strong his kit seemed, there weren't any relevant characters that really paired with him at the time. Now, we have Aglaya, My Day, Anaxa, Phainon, and the upcoming new Daniel Hang as units who synergize perfectly with Sunday, with some completely depending on him to be remotely useful. All this to say, sure, there are only 2 units, Anaxa and Phainon, who fully utilize Cerydra's kit right now. But not only are those some of the strongest units this game has to offer, if past release patterns are any indication of what's to come, you could bet on the fact that we'll be getting a massive wave of characters in the near future who rely on skill damage as their main source of DPS. And I'll just come out and say it. Star Rail players just can't seem to decide what they want anymore. Power creep is a universally recognized problem, and half of it stems from buffers who are so ridiculously overtuned that they can be slotted into every single team, which both directly increases HP inflation and also makes them a mandatory pull. And yet for some reason, Cerydra being a strong yet not obscenely overpowered buffer for select teams is seen as this horrible thing for the game. So does it even need to be said? Of course it does. You know exactly what I'm about to say next. Cerydra is, quite literally, the Luka Doncic of Honkai Star Rail. Just like the Don himself, Cerydra came into the game completely undervalued by just about everyone, but would quickly prove himself to be one of the most impressive offensive forces this game's ever seen. Sure, they have their limitations, and they may not be the most versatile, but it's going to be difficult to complain too much about that when they're hitting the most unbelievable step back threes you've ever seen, aka the double Phainon Meteor. And much like how those who passed up on Luka Magic would end up sorely regretting their decision, in time there's no doubt we'll all collectively realize just how special Cerydra is. So is Cerydra a must-pull character? Honestly, if you own either Anaxa or Phainon, it's hard to argue otherwise. I've never had more fun than I am right now dropping double meteors and quad Anaxa shots with Cerydra. Her gameplay loop is incredibly unique, with tons of room for different builds and skill expression. And honestly, with how restrictive and uninteresting Evernight's kit is, and with the new Dan Hang version hopefully being free, that's reason enough for me. If not, you'll probably be safe to wait for a rerun, but just know that her absence will certainly be felt if and when they release the next skill damage unit who will be absurdly powerful when paired alongside her. If nothing else, I hope that all this downright tomfoolery has finally shown us that Star Rail Doom posters are never to be trusted, because the hysteria surrounding Cerydra is almost identical to how everyone thought Cypher and Anaxa would be trash releases after they got nerfed from being the most singularly overpowered unit that would immediately uproot the balance of Star Rail to just meagerly one of the strongest units in the game. So don't just blindly follow the narratives, because the results speak for themselves. It's about time that we put some respect on Cerydra's name. Thank you for watching. More Star Rail videos coming soon.
Anyway, $4 a pound.